Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Okay, that's a good point. I love whites. That's always my favorite uniform is white.
That is definitely the sound drop open for the show.
Oh, shit. No, Andy! No!
Welcome back to the Friendly Confines for another edition of the Claire-vs-Carlson Show. There are many things that you can put in your ears. This is one of them, coming to you on a brand new night. This is Friday, 10/9 Central, part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire. My favorite movie is Milo and Otis Mullins at the ClaireBear23 on Twitter. Is that really your favorite movie?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
You've never seen Milo and Otis?
Mm-mm.
Kind of devil-worshipping childhood did you grow up with?
Well, I don't think it came out when I was like a child, but I don't remember it being a big deal.
All right, fine.
It wasn't like Starbucks. I mean, Star Wars or anything. Starbucks, coffee. I wish I had coffee. It wasn't like huge.
All right, but we've already veered off into the ditch. She is the Longhorns correspondent over at the NFL Female Podcast. I'm Andy Carlson at Purple for the Win, purpleftw.com. We can be found at Claire-vs-Carlson on Twitter, on YouTube, on iTunes, facebook.com/Claire-vs-Carlson. But, yeah, we already got into the intro, and you already started yammering about why Star Wars is the best movie series ever.
Well, no, I didn't say that. I just think that Milo and Otis is not an integral part of a child's growing up experience.
It shows how two opposite beings of a cat and a dog can be best friends.
Excuse me, they did that. It's called The Fox and the Hound.
No, it's a euphemism saying that we're all different in this world, but we can all get along. It is integral to a part of child rearing, IMO.
Whatever, but I saw the Fox and the Hound, or Fox and Hound, and that was the same sort of premise. I mean, I know how to get along with people, Andy. Shut up.
I doubt that, you ginger. But we have a lot of amazing stuff to get to yet again, and coming to you from our new home Friday nights. We're going to try and keep the topics pretty general, as, we could turn this to a full preview show for the weekend, but you're probably out, you're having a good time, and if you're listening to us on a Friday night, you're probably alone drinking in your bathtub. So you're not going to remember what we're saying anyways. So we're going to try and keep it big picture, keep it fresh, so you can always catch us on demand anytime, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, all that good stuff, and it won't be too stale. So what do you think about the move, Claire?
I think it's all about good times and good timing. And, we were recording a lot on Monday, and so now it will be the Monday, the week will be finished. We can have time to digest it. We have time to share it with everybody and look ahead, take that information and apply it to this weekend instead of just sort of meandering, wondering what's happening on the injury report this week. And we'll have a lot of those answers at this point on Friday. So that's really cool. And Fridays, I know that I'm one of those people. I'm at home on Friday night. I don't have to work the next day. And so why not listen to a podcast on Friday night?
And drink alone in the bathtub and just like Nancy Kerrigan, like, why?
Well, that too. Why am I home on Friday night listening to these clowns talk about football?
Hey, speak for yourself, Ginger. So tonight we are chock full, as always. We have a bunch of brand new fun big picture segments. In the first segment, it is going to be 2015 NFL quarterbacks. Who is going to be quarterbacking what team next season? And I got some hot fire coming for you.
Spit your hot fire.
Cauldron. No, it's coming. This is just the previous segment. Also, we're doing in and out. I run through a bunch of topics for Claire, and we decide if we're in or if we're out. It's kind of a microcosm of my high school career.
That's what she said.
No. And also, segment 3, hired or fired in the NFL, who is getting fired or relieved of their duties, or just moving on. Like Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, he gone. Maybe he won't get fired, but he gone. And we'll take our best guess on who will be replacing them. Also, I have some hot fire there. I just have outlandish takes. I think it's a lot of the fantasy football aspect of me, where quarterbacks and head coaches and GMs can just move around all willy-nilly. It's good stuff.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the hot fire you profess to be about to spit.
Yeah, and we also go through our Week 10 picks and make our Week 11 selections. It's a meh. And we both picked Miami last night, and Miami finally got it done 22-9 over the hapless Buffalo Bills. That was basically a playoff game last night.
Kind of. I mean, a little bit.
Losers eliminated. They gone. Buffalo has no chance now.
So, bye, Buffalo. I mean, I guess. Good luck next year.
Bye. Oh, also, as a tease, you'll be having a new quarterback next year. But we'll get to that in a second. And to bring up the rear, I have a new game for Claire. I'm a big games person. I'm like a Pat Sajak.
You are.
You're suck on it, Trebek.
Oh.
The game is called Play or Nay, and I give Claire a team and list off several players, and she tells me whether that player played for the team or nay, did not. The team this evening, the Denver Broncos. And we'll get to that a little later on. You're going to get smoked. But at the top, I just wanted to ask you, Claire, how's been your week? A little extended vacation? Yeah.
It wasn't an extended vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went to Denver for work, and I went a day early and hung out at some friends of mine's house.
Yep.
And we watched football. We watched Red Zone all day Sunday.
Wow.
And that was awesome. And it was just very mellow. And then Monday, the polar vortex, they call it, descended upon the area. And so that was a lot of fun because I was driving. But I'm alive, and we're here to talk about it. So yay.
Well, you know what everyone thinks about the polar vortex.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Yeah, and you caused it by heading to the mountains.
Oh. Actually, my friend
Rocky
Sarah
Mountain High,
caused
John freaking Denver.
My friend Sarah caused it because she said it would snow when I was there, and apparently it doesn't snow like that very often, like a few times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, she caused the insanity that descended upon the country really this week.
What else happened with you? I did read some of your melancholy tweets that you drove through your, was it ex-life partner's hometown?
My ex-husband's, yeah. Well, it was weird because my first time I've ever been in Denver, and my ex-husband kind of grew up there, and his family had an orange van, and they were all orange crushy and stuff back in the day.
Oh, I thought orange van was code for, I don't know, like police call, like
no
potential predators vans, orange vans, as like orange as a warning, you know?
They were a family of 4 people who had a mother and a father and a little girl and a boy. So no, it wasn't sexual predators. Why are you making this ugly? Anyway, so they were super orange crushy, and he grew up there for a while, and so I happened to end up there this week. And then the place in the middle of nowhere, Texas Hill Country, where we used to go for holidays, I had to go there for work this week too. And so it was just like, what? No, go away. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with feels and stuff in life. No.
You got your first snowblower at that family Christmas, didn't you?
Oh, my God. You're so full of it. You and your snowblower talk. I wish I had a snowblower this week for real, though. It was bad.
Oh, a real snowblower, not just one to pass the time. Because
exactly.
You're snowed in because it's your fault, Elsa.
Nope, I wasn't snowed in.
No,
I got out.
You've had to have seen Frozen, right? Because you have a young niece.
Yeah, I have seen Frozen.
What'd you think about it?
It was good, but you get sick of it because that stupid song that the kids won't quit singing.
You want to build a snowman?
No. Forget what it's called now. Dang it.
It is. Is that song?
No, it's been out of my head for long enough now that I've practiced. Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments, Claire. Play whenever you want, which I know you love to do.
Got an injured player? Not a problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week. So you're never stuck with the same players, luckily for you, Carlson.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
And this season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000.
Another turned $2 into $10,000. $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code SPREAKER, SPREAKER, to play for free. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com.
Straight cash, homie.
All right, I got to stop singing copyrighted lyrics before we get sued. So let's get into this. The first one off the top of my back, I'm very excited about this. This was a late night Ambien-induced brainchild of mine because we had something else lined up, but this one is way better. 2015 NFL quarterbacks. Who is going to be the quarterback for your team next season? We give our hot takes, and we'll go through division by division, team by team, and we'll be like, who's going to be starting? So let's start off right at the top, the NFC East, Claire. New England Patriots, who is starting for them week 1, 2015?
Tom Brady, probably.
Oh, I see. You're going very, according to Hoyle, very old-fashioned, very missionary. I see what you're doing. False. The 2015 Patriots starting quarterback will be Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, shut up.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Belichick.
You are so full of it.
Belichick is going to do his final Belichickian parlay to try and prove he's better than everyone else. Even though Brady will take them to the AFC title game, they will lose to Denver. But Brady will be traded in the offseason to St. Louis for the number 5 overall pick. And with that pick, they'll get Jimmy Garoppolo, Amari Cooper, wide receiver, out of Alabama. Jimmy, Gronk, Amari, youth moving forward. Come on.
I just think that's a lot of supposition. That's assuming a whole lot.
It is a lot of good stuff. And so now that is a tease for the rest of the list because you're like, wow, where's Brady going to end up? Because he's not retired. He's on this list. So you just wait. Next up, the Miami Dolphins. I got Ryan Tannehill starting. Who do you got?
Got Tanny.
That's a pretty odd. He didn't look that great last night, but I still think he's got they really miss Brandon Alberts. And I still don't know if I'm sold on Tannehill as a starting quarterback. He's good. He's okay, but I don't know. I know he's your boy and all.
Well, yeah, I want him to be
Reggie
successful. Well, no, who is? Let's be honest. But, I mean, no, Tannehill's not dazzling, but I don't think anyone thought that he would be dazzling. I don't know that he was taken in the first round, right?
Very high. I think he was 8 in 2012.
That was kind of crack rocky. Who made that decision?
Jeff Ireland.
Okay, there you have it. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that he was worthy of that pick, but I think he is a sufficient NFL starting quarterback for a team that's going to be probably slightly better than mediocre for a while.
I'll tell you
if
what,
they're put together well.
I'll tell you what, though. The 2012 quarterbacks, I would rather have Tannehill than RG3 moving forward.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's something there. Next up, the team was quarterback position seems to always be in flux. The New York Jets. Who do you have starting for them next year, Claire?
Oh, my God, this is gross. They're going to have to find somebody. I don't even know who. Why don't you tell me who your suggestion is, because I'm blank.
My suggestion is Marcus Ezekiel Mariota, rookie out of Oregon with the number 3 overall pick, and that also ties in very heavily with who I have coaching the Jets next season. That's another tease. I'm just teasing it out today. It's beautiful stuff. Marcus Mariota, suck for a duck, starting for the Jets. They move on from Geno. They keep Vic around as just kind of a veteran insurance policy, but they're starting all over again. Mariota, Percy, Eric Decker, come on.
So Mariota's going to start like the first game of the
Day
2015 season?
Day F1, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if he was going to be on the Texans, I would want him to start day one, so I guess that makes sense. I could see it. Because they don't have anybody on the roster right now who whatever new regime is going to believe in. So, I mean, I still think the writing's on the wall for this current one. So,
yeah, because I think Rex is gone, and I think Izek might be out the door as well. I think they might start over completely from scratch with a brand new GM, a brand new head coach, and a brand new quarterback. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you go and look at what this coaching staff did when they had Mark Sanchez. He's only played a couple games, but he hasn't looked awful yet. And I think he was better than he was when he played with the Jets later in his career. Mm-hmm. So I think that they kind of maybe coddled him. Who was it? Jeremy Curley said that? Who said that? Was it Curley? Anyway.
Probably Curley.
Yeah. So maybe they coddled him and kind of ruined him, and that will still hang over their heads, and they'll make a decision. I think that would definitely be a factor in their decision to not
Very
keep
possible.
trying.
Who you got starting for the Gangrene next year?
Oh, I mean, I think, a Mariota is as likely as anything else. I don't know their system well enough to, look at the college quarterbacks this quickly and say, oh, so-and-so would be a better fit for their system.
Oh, but they're starting over completely from scratch.
There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, that wouldn't even matter. If I don't know who the coach is, then I don't know who the quarterback is if they're going to pick up somebody from the draft.
Rounding out the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. They are not starting Kyle Orton. They are not starting E.J. Manuel in 2015. They are starting free agent signee to a nice little 4-year free agent deal, Mark Sanchez.
What?
The return of the Mac. He gets to play the Jets twice a year. Sanchez parlays this very nice season under Chip Kelly that's coming up into a sweet little free agent deal. He signed a 1-year deal in Philly. He becomes the next quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
I sure do think that, at least right now, Sanchez sure does like playing in Chip Kelly's offense.
He does.
And if he holds his own cards, I don't know. I mean, it feels good right now that he could possibly be a fit if, he plays well and they want to keep him. I think if it's up to Sanchez and things keep going on this direction, he'll end up staying in Philadelphia. Now, if it's not, and Philadelphia doesn't want to keep him, then okay, I could possibly see it. But I think it's more than likely to me that Sanchez, unless something happens negatively, could be the starter in Philadelphia.
But I have a different starter in Philadelphia. It's not Sanchez. It's not Nick Foles. That's another tease. It's coming out all over the seams.
You're just like recreating the whole NFL's personnel system.
It's the fantasy football in me, and it's probably not going to happen. Probably a little bit over the top, but then again, strange things do happen. Strange things do happen. Moving on to the AFC North, Browns, Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens. I have all incumbents. Hoyer signs an extension, doesn't get a huge money deal, but gets one of those type of Dalton, Cutler, Kaepernick type year-to-year deals. I could see that happening, especially since he's playing well, and they're not going to have Manziel to back him up next year. That's another tease. That is another tease. Then I just have Big Ben, Dalton, and Flacco since they're all kind of stuck. I mean, Roethlisberger is going to get an extension. He's going to get Flacco type money, or he might even get more. He's been asking for, I think 150 for 6 years, something ridiculous like that. And that maybe he's kind of worth it. I don't know. Then Dalton, Bengals are obviously stuck, and Flacco, they're stuck. Do you have any significant shakeups in the AFC North?
Not really. Although I could see something happening where like you said, the other three are boring kind of at quarterback right now, but the Browns could always start Manziel. I mean, I'm just saying, and they could trade Hoyer for all we know.
Yeah, it is possible, and they could franchise him and then trade him like the Patriots did with Matt Castle in 2009, that offseason.
Something like that.
Yeah, they shipped him to KC. Moving on to the AFC South, the incumbents, I got Andrew Luck in Indianapolis and Blake Bortles, obviously, in Jacksonville. I'm going to save your Texans for last, but the Tennessee Titans draft Jameis Winston in the first round and sign free agent cast-off Nick Foles. Have a nice little battle going back and forth. Who's going to win? I don't know, but I see them as the top two quarterbacks on their roster 2015. What say you?
I guess I could see it. It's kind of gross having to think about the players that I cheer for actually having to touch that guy, Jameis Winston. But, that's cool, I guess. Couldn't find a better home for him. Sorry, Sharona.
Sorry, Sharona, but Jameis and Taylor Lewan are going to be representing your football team, which is
awful.
Awful. Yeah.
Awful.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Speaking of ain't nobody got time for that, the Houston Texans starting Tom Savage 2015. Fourth round pick of the current administration of the 2014 NFL draft. They start him 2015, day one. Come on.
The only reason I'm going to disagree, and it's not for the reasons you would think, is just because I know people who say that the current Texans quarterback is still in college. That's from the team sources stuff. So, yeah.
That's what I got for you. Well, is Savage taking, night classes at DeVry or something?
I don't know what he's doing with his free time. He probably has a lot of it.
Because that's what I assume they mean by that the Texans quarterback's still in college. Maybe he's getting his MBA at night or something. I don't know.
No. What makes you think, unless he is a very special quarterback, Tom Savage was a fourth-round draft pick?
Yes, sir.
They don't typically pan out. I mean, sometimes they do, but typically, I don't know. I haven't seen enough to believe that with Bill O'Brien in charge of the franchise, to say that Tom Savage is the guy he intended to be the starter for the team.
I just don't think Mal's going to secure the job and get it done. And with the
He
Texans
may
are
not.
4-5 right now. I don't think they're going to be in a spot to draft one of the premier quarterbacks in this draft. Which after Mariota, it's pretty speculative out there. I mean, you got Mannion, Winston, Hundley, Bryce Petty, Dak Prescott, I guess. But so there's no real surefire franchise quarterbacks except maybe outside of Mariota, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying there is, but I'm just saying that there's a strong possibility that someone in college right now has what Bill O'Brien is looking for his system. And that guy, I don't know if they would be willing to sell the farm to get him or not, or if they would have to.
Should have just drafted Manziel.
It could in retrospect be a mistake, or it could be the best thing this
Manziel has
did.
as many tackles for loss this year as Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, like I said, neither has really played.
And the AFC West, I got all incumbents: Peyton, Rivers, Carr, and Alex Smith. Any shakeups for you?
No, not really. I mean, I don't see any of them going anywhere. I think that, I mean, you look at Alex Smith and you look at Derek Carr and you say, well, they're probably the more likely of the four teams that would look at a QB change, but really why they wouldn't. So, no, they're good.
I think they got a really special talent there in Oakland with Derek Carr. Got him in the second round. He's obviously has a huge arm, and the Raiders, like we talked about, they're winless, but they play hard. And there are some pieces there, him, Khalil Mack, starting to get things going, and it's not bad.
Who's going to be their coach, I wonder?
That's a good question, and that is a tease because that is one of the coaching openings coming up because I don't think Tony Sperano is going to be hanging on to that job. Nah.
God.
Moving on to the better conference, the NFC. In the NFC East, I have Eli Manning and RG3 holding on to their respective jobs as incumbents. Tony Romo back for one more year, but the Cowboys do draft Bryce Petty, the pride of Baylor in the second round to be the heir apparent for Tony Romo, because Brandon Weeden, ain't nobody got time for that.
Brandon Weeden is just not fun to watch, and his team, he's not a leader, obviously, of that team. Whenever he played, he was just off by himself, and no one was being supportive. Everyone was being a jerk to him when he sucked, and so, yeah, he's gone. Or if he's there, he's in some sort of water boy capacity.
Weeden will go back to Oklahoma State, be quarterback's coach or a grad assistant, and then in 5 years collect AARP and Social Security and just live the good life.
He's younger than me.
Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Ew.
But my big shakeup is with the Philadelphia Fighting Eagles. Gone is Foles. Gone is Sanchez. I don't even think it's a big deal because Chip Kelly has proven that his quarterback is really irrelevant in his offense. As by design, Chip Kelly is getting guys open, making huge windows that anyone, even Mark Sanchez, can look good in. And they pick up free agent Jake Locker, as well as draft with the 25th pick overall, Brett Hundley, quarterback out of UCLA. Come on.
Jake Locker?
Jake Locker and Brett Hundley. Tag teaming this mother.
Hundley, okay, fine. Someone's going to take him. Okay, fine. Why Locker? Where did that come from?
Well, even though Foles and Sanchez aren't the traditional, athletic type quarterbacks, Kelly, even though his offense doesn't really need it, I think he does prefer the type of athletic quarterback like Mariota at Oregon, like Dennis Dixon at Oregon, and Hundley, Jake Locker, when he can stay healthy, shows that they got a little shimmy, a little shake, a little bit of extra dimension to bring to that offense, and I think they could bring something to the table.
Might as well bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, he's mobile, but I'm just saying the point is that Fitzpatrick never gets hurt hardly, and Locker's always hurt. And so what's the point of Jake Locker? That one is making me kind of crazy. But whatever.
I could say Christian Ponder, but
but you could say something logical too.
Oh, come on. Locker is going to get a second chance. He's not Blaine Gabbert. And
it has been years. It has been seasons since he has had a healthy streak. Seasons.
They said the same thing about DeMarco Murray. Hello.
Well, I'm not. Is a quarterback the same as DeMarco Murray? No. DeMarco Murray is almost ultra human. So I don't know. I'm not buying the Jake Locker thing. Sorry, I'm not buying what you're selling with that one.
Wait, I got one for you.
Oh, good for you.
All right, so who do you think is starting for the Eagles 2015 as their QB?
Mark Sanchez.
Really?
Yep, I think he has a resurgence.
Do you think he signs one of those 2-year prove-it deals with an option, or do you think he actually gets some decent money?
No, I think he probably would be willing to do that for the system that he likes being in. But I also think that Chip Kelly is probably not scared to make changes, and that's why he'll probably, you're right, go for a shorter deal and a prove it sort of thing. But I could see Mark Sanchez doing well there because it wasn't like he was a bad quarterback. He was in bad situations in New York a lot of the time. Now, butt fumble is embarrassing that happened. But if you look at him straight out of college in the NFL, he was a pretty darn good quarterback for being so young. And now he has a ton of experience. He's in the right situation. He may be able to excel, and maybe Chip Kelly sees that in him.
It's possible. I still think Sanchez could develop on his own outside of this quarterback-friendly Chip Kelly system because, if you think about it, they didn't let him do a whole lot in New York. They didn't really rely on him. And at USC, only played for 1 year, much to Pete Carroll's chagrin at that press conference. And he's still developing as a quarterback. He hasn't had a lot of run.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's probably pretty mature for a quarterback at this point in his career. But I could see him being the leader on the field that the Chip Kelly would like to have.
All right. Still have a bunch of hot fire takes to get to in the NFC North, though no hot takes, all incumbents. Cutler, Roger Stafford, and Teddy Bridgewater. Any shakeups with you?
Well, really, Chicago could do something.
Bye. Florio over at PAT wrote up that they could move Cutler in the offseason, and the contract is $54 million guaranteed, but they could get out of it by only paying him $38. But still, that's $38 million guaranteed for one season. The Bears are just too cheap to do anything about that. I think they're going to stick with Cutler. If anything, they'll probably just get different defensive coordinator, if not just move Trustman, because it's not looking good. And especially this weekend after the Vikings put another 50-burger on them, making it 3 straight 50-point games given up.
Oh, is that what's happening this weekend?
That's what's going down in the streets, son.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if the Bears do move on from Cutler, who do you see starting there next year?
Oh, my God. That is such a wide open question because I have no idea.
Josh McCown, bring it on back. That love and feeling.
My sister went to that school, and so, I remember all the Josh McCown fever coming out of Sam Houston State.
Oh, Sam Houston State. I was thinking his brother went to like one of the random Louisiana Lafayette schools, right?
Yeah.
Or Louisiana Tech or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. They're the Bearcats with the K, which, as a person who admires the English language, I find that kind of deplorable. But whatever. I can't stop.
You don't admire the English language essay?
I do, to a degree. I really like words. Words are cool. So,
what's your favorite word? Onomatopoeia?
God, you always put me on the spot with a random question. Noodle.
Well, we'll bring that up in the second segment. We'll let you think about it over the break. But for now, let's think about the NFC South. I got Breeze, Cam, and Matt Ryan stuck in place. Cam, they hit him with the 5th-year option last offseason, so he's stuck. Still has to prove it. He's not proving it this year if he's worthy of a long-term extension. I don't even think he's worth Kaepernick money right now, to be honest.
Well, I think that a lot of teams are still going to see a good quarterback there who's being coached horribly right now. He's not receiving what he needs from that team, who put everything on his shoulders, essentially, him and the defense. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, it's up to Cam with aging running backs around him and a pretty weak receiving core. The line isn't doing so hot for him. Cam is the offense, and they're not putting him in situations for him to be successful, and it's getting to his confidence, obviously. And so I think that Cam is going to go somewhere else and be rewarded for it. Now, I don't know if it'll be the right system and if he'll flourish there, but I think he'll get another chance if he doesn't stick in Carolina.
And I think the Panthers' new head coach, from our third segment, will give Cam a little bit of help since he's worked with mobile quarterbacks before and maybe a little bit of a college-y offense that would be better suited to Cam. That's another tease. I know. That's not even a tease. That's just like laid out in front of you. But rounding out the NFC South with my probably second biggest bomb is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers swap first-round picks with the Cleveland Browns and land Jonathan Manziel.
Football.
Sell the tickets. Fill up the sombrero. But it's not the sombrero anymore, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. It's not terribly far-fetched. Mm-hmm. But wait, okay. So the Browns would probably be picking in the 20s at this
Browns
point.
Swapping like 22 pick. I got the Buccaneers at drafting number 2. So they're not going to give up a ton for Manziel, as Manziel was only the 22nd overall pick, but a little swappage, a little something.
Okay. Question.
Yeah.
What would the Browns be doing with that second overall pick? I'm just curious if you have a theory there, because it sounds like you thought this through quite a bit. But no, not that much.
I would have to give some thought because I haven't dove into a ton of the draft stuff outside of the quarterbacks. I know that this year is supposed to be really deep for pass rushers, and Mike Pettin, you're going to love him some pass rushers, even though he's got a pretty decent defense going on in Cleveland right now, except against the run, which Alfred Blue is going to tear up on Sunday.
Shut up. Let's not even talk about it. And not even just the Texans. Arian Foster is my number one running back in like 3 leagues. Oh, you don't because
we talked about
everyone
this a couple weeks ago. Why don't you have Alfred Blue handcuffed?
Because I wanted to get someone else that could start during bye weeks. Because bye weeks were happening. I needed someone who was playing opposite those.
All right, but we got to wrap up the first segment.
Wrap it up.
Manziel, Buccaneers, Mike Evans, reunited, and it feels so good. They're still going to go like 3-13 next year, but what else? would be
That would
entertaining.
be fun. That would be a lot of fun to see Manziel and Evans reunited. I didn't even think about that. I can't even think about that.
Tannehill comes over, switches it back to wide receiver.
That would be super sick. That would be the funnest thing ever.
Last division of the NFC West, which used to be the best conference in football. The Cardinals are going to roll with Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton, and Logan Thomas is eventually going to start pushing a little bit. We'll see how Palmer's ACL heals up. We'll see. Then Wilson and Kaepernick are obviously stuck. And the last one, you knew it was coming. The Los Angeles Rams. Yes, Los Angeles. They're moving in the offseason as they are wont to do. Trade their number 1 and number 3 picks to the New England Patriots, number 5 overall in the first round, for Thomas freaking Brady. Brady in LA to finish out his career. Come on.
Why don't you write soap operas for a living? Because that
is going to be great.
That could be your occupation.
No, it'll be a carbon copy of David Beckham ending up with the LA Galaxy.
Yes.
Except you got Giselle instead of whatever Spice, and then you got Tom Brady, movie star, good looks, just like David Beckham, playing for a really terrible team in Los Angeles. It's the same ending. It's a carbon copy.
Well, that would be exciting for them. Okay, cool, I guess. But so Tom Brady, we're supposed to believe, is going to be willing to lose the final years of his career? Yes. Or it's just like he has no control over it. It's just
because debatably, besides outside of Gronk, he would have better weapons in St. Louis than he would in New England. Let's be honest.
Okay, I can see it. I guess. I mean, I don't have a better idea there for St. Louis. Who's the coaching staff in St. Louis?
Jeff Fisher, who is also an LA guy, pride of USC. That's why we'll see if it works. It might be. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
But that is the first segment. It is in the books. We'll be right back with a little in or out. And Claire will tell us her favorite word in the English language. I bet you it's something to do with tacos. But we'll be right back. Claire versus Carlson show. Coming on back for the second quarter of the Claire versus Carlson show. Claire is still racking her brain trying to figure out what her favorite word of the English language is. And I'm still going to go with, I don't know, something probably taco related. Oh, or maybe it's almost Thanksgiving. How about gravy? That's always a good word.
Gravy?
And you're from the South, and so you got red eye gravy, you got red eye gravy, and all this other stuff. You have
cream gravy and you have brown gravy, and that's pretty much, or sausage gravy.
Well, what kind of gravy do you put on fried catfish?
You don't put gravy on fried catfish.
No, child, don't you put gravy on everything?
No, we don't. No.
Sorry, that was my creepy
Creole.
Creole, Cajun man voice. All right, so before we get into the in or out ripoff of the ESPN segment, of which ESPN rips off Tosh and then Tosh reams them, which is very funny as well. In the South, why do they take other meats that aren't chicken and then fry them as if they were chicken?
Because the way chicken is fried is delicious. Mm-hmm. And so some culinary person decided to try it with a bunch of different types of products and make them more delicious. So why not chicken fry everything?
Chicken fried steak, chicken fried Scotch egg, chicken fried DQ Blizzard.
It's good stuff, bro. You can't knock it. I mean, that's why we're fat.
Well, we brought this up before, but isn't Houston the fourth heaviest city in the world?
Probably. It's the fourth largest in the world. Wait, what?
As I just burp. Well, maybe it's in the United States.
I think in the United States, but it's up there.
The United States is the heaviest nation in the world, so you'd think that the heaviest cities here would be the heaviest in the world, right?
Could be, or there could be some aberrations throughout the world. Like look at the South Pacific. There are some very heavy peoples in the South Pacific.
Hey, you do not talk about Aboriginal people like that.
It's true. It's just true. Because their bodies evolved because they would travel everywhere by boat and they would go long periods without eating. And so their bodies evolved to hold more fat. It's true. They're more prone to diabetes and gout as well and other metabolism-related diseases, in case you weren't aware.
Yeah, well, Jim, what do you think about this little intro banter?
In my opinion, that sucked.
Yeah, he took his time there. But we're on to In or Out, which is a very easy peasy, straightforward, very Sports Nation-esque little segment, as we'll read off a bunch of sports-related stories, and then we'll tell you if we're in with the story or if we're out. And, here is the sound drop. In.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Or out.
The good news is you're fired. Bye, Felicia.
No, the best part would be if I didn't have a sound drop, we just had 10 seconds of silence, and Claire would have no idea what was going on. But there was one, and you'll have to hear it on the back end. But for now, let's get into it. First one. Is college football better than the NFL? The NFL let a primetime blow. It's even on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and college football. It just seems like there's always a titanic matchup every single weekend. This weekend, Alabama, Mississippi State. It's going to be awesome. Ohio State at Minnesota, which is going to be sneaky great. Hello. And then, I don't know. It just seems like every weekend, college football does outperform the NFL, but is it better?
What?
Yeah.
Now you're just blowing smoke, bro. Okay. There are at least three great games this week in the NFL. There's Detroit, Arizona, there's Philadelphia and Green Bay, and there's New England, Indianapolis. So those are, every week there are big games in the NFL. And, okay, for me, as a football fan, there's just too much to keep up with in NCAA, honestly, and I just care about my team. But in the NFL, you're watching the best hand-selected playmakers on the planet perform at the most athletic event, essentially, sport on the planet. And so the plays that you see in the NFL, there are more outstanding plays in the NFL, in my opinion, than there are outstanding plays in the NCAA.
Yeah, but, they talk about these rivalry games in the NFL, like Washington and Dallas, but it just seems like in college there are just these way cooler rivalries, like Florida, Georgia, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Bama, Auburn, and the Iron Bowl.
That's like some sentimental attachment to football to me. It's like I don't care about any college that I didn't go to, honestly. It just doesn't matter to me. And so that rivalry could make a hill of beans to me unless I have an attachment to that team. On the NFL, it just feels like, maybe because I've just been more entrenched in it, I feel like every team has a personality to me, and I feel like they're little entities of their own. And seeing rivalry, the
Buccaneers do not have a personality besides just being very poopy.
Well, now they are, and they have been really poopy, but there was a time where their defense continues to be emulated throughout the NFL. And I don't even remember what year period that was. We all know when that was.
That was the early 2000s, late Tony Dungy era, and then Gruden came in and vultured the Super Bowl, for lack of a better term. That was the Tampa 2, but now it's the Tampa too many points. Mwah.
Oh. Well,
Where's that?
okay.
One?
I'm just saying that in my own personal opinion, I prefer the NFL, the NCAA, and I know that I'm probably in the minority here.
Well,
so that's fine.
Back in your old day, like Texas A&M, Texas, that after Thanksgiving game, give me an NFL rivalry that matches up with that sort of intensity.
With which game?
Texas A&M, Texas.
Oh, that has that sort of intensity in the NFL?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I would say there are probably years when both teams are good, and that's the same thing with A&M Texas. If you're not a fan, I mean, if you didn't go to either schools, you're not a fan of either one. I don't think that a mediocre Texas and Texas A&M or a really good one or the other is going to make that intriguing of a game.
Well, you got to think of the NFL too. It's about what fan base you're in, because everyone talks about Pittsburgh and Baltimore being the best rivalry in the NFL. But if you're not part of it, it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. Just two division teams.
That's fine, but I mean, the fan bases are really the ones who care the most about rivalries. And for me, I care a lot more about an NFL rivalry than I do a college rivalry. It just is what it is. I have been marketed to by the NFL, I guess, better than the college football.
I want it now. I want the whole thing. NFL now. I don't know. It's definitely LOL sample size, but it does seem that a lot of the primetime games this year have been just unwatchable blowouts. And in college football, you'll see it is a lot high scoring, especially if they get into overtime. But even just like Auburn, Texas A&M, the other day, that was supposed to be a blowout. Then it turned into one of the better games of the season, even though Auburn got hosed at the end. But whatevs. I mean, it's going to happen.
Hey, Auburn has taken plenty of games and hosts plenty of other teams, so I don't even want to hear about Auburn.
Next up, in or out? All right, so just to backtrack, college football is not better than the NFL in your opinion, so you are out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out as well.
Quick.
I'm going to be out as well because, there's no college football fantasy yet, unless you're a complete degen. Next up, in or out on Bama being favored over any other college football team on a neutral field, according to Las Vegas. Bama.
Then any other? Okay. On a neutral field. Ooh.
So Vegas saying Bama, neutral field, be favored over Oregon, over TCU, over Mississippi State, over FSU, yada.
Gosh. Kind of got to believe it, I think. I think I'm in.
I'm in too, because they're not dummies in Vegas. I mean, they built those skyscrapers and hotels for a reason, right?
Right. Yeah. They didn't get rich by making bad predictions.
Although it would be nice to see Saban go off into the sunset with one last national championship.
No, it wouldn't.
No, he is going off into the sunset. That's a tease.
Well, good.
That's another
tease. I don't
tease.
want him to get a championship on the way. He can suck it. Saban can. You heard me.
No.
Satan, as I like to call him.
Nick Satan. That's original.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in on Bama as well. Next up, increasing the college football playoff from 4 teams to 8 teams. Claire, in or out on that?
Man, I might change my mind after I see it in action because I'm open-minded like that. But at the moment, it feels like 8 teams would be preferable to what feels like a very limited playoff selection. I mean, the options are not that – it's more exciting with a few more spots. You don't want to inundate the system with too many spots, but yeah, it doesn't need to be 64 or anything crazy, but 8 I think is preferable to a very limited 4 when there's probably going to be a few high profile contested games at the end of the season where teams are right on the line. And I know teams will still be on the line if they're 8, but that gives you a better chance to prove yourself, and why not? All
right, so you're in for 8.
In.
I'm going to be out because they're technically locked in at 4 for the next decade, but we all know the worth of contracts like that when the NCAA is involved. And I feel like 4 is the perfect number right now because there is hope for, there's 6 teams in the mix as opposed to like 3 or 4 in previous BCS years. And if it opens up to 8, I feel like there'll be less prestige given to like these games coming up, like Bama, Mississippi State, games like that. And even a couple weeks ago, Mississippi State, Auburn, and those type of games. Because, if you lose one of these big high-pressure games, then you'd be like, all right, well, we'll just run the table against XYZ opponents, and we'll get in as the 7th seed, and then who knows what can happen. But with the Final Four, there are more seats at the table, but it is still very exclusive, and it's going to be a lot of pressure, especially that team that ends up in the 5-6 spot this year.
Well, it's still a playoff system. It's I mean, the prestige or whatever belongs to whoever wins.
Well, it'd be like if they expand the NCAA tournament to 128 teams.
Which, shut up. That's crazy and stupid, but okay, whatever.
It is crazy because then you'd just be like, all right, we'll just get in. And then the
but 8 is nowhere compared to 128. It's so much smaller.
Well, there's over 300 Division I NCAA basketball teams. There's 112 or 115 Division I NCAA football teams. So it's kind of comparable.
I guess, dude. I don't know.
Guess, dude.
I need to look at it. I need to look at it closer. I overthink these things, and so I need to overthink it before I actually commit to agreeing with you or not.
I'm out. Next one, in or out on NFL Films deciding to air. Carson Palmer mic'd up for his ACL tear, and this was just sad.
Well, if the player is okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I suppose if he gives the okay, and I'm sure they have to. There's something in their contracts, which the NFL has so much minutia in.
If they want to maintain good working relationships with each other, they're going to ask players in these sensitive situations. You would think, is it, hey Carson, just checking, we got it on film when you hurt yourself. Is it cool if it's on TV or something? Because otherwise, if he didn't know they were going to put it on there, he probably should have assumed. But
see, the mic'd up thing is so cool too. Like for as far as like injured players, like when Matthew Stafford beat the Browns, I think it's like second or third year with the Lions, where he had a separated shoulder and he was like screaming and yelling the whole time, and then finally quarterback snuck it in for the game-winning touchdown. That was cool, but this one, it just seems sad. Imagine like NFC Championship game last year if Navarro Bowman had been mic'd up. God,
that would have been awful. God, that would have been awful. That makes my stomach cringe just thinking about that. But I mean, okay, you feel bad for everybody. At the same time, Carson Palmer is going to have a very nice consolation prize. Mm-hmm. I know he's a competitor. He wants to play. That's his job, and yada yada. It's like how I felt. It's not the same as an injury, but when a player starts doing really poorly and people are like, oh, I kind of feel sorry for him. You know what? He's making a whole crap ton of money. He's making a lot more money than I probably see in my life. So it sucks, but things happen to people. Bad things happen to good people all the time. And so I'm sorry, but it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. I'm not that sad about it.
Yeah. And these guys do make a ton of money, but it is a trade-off. I mean, being in the public eye, it's not really everyone's thing. And plus, when he was in Cincinnati and people show up at his house when he was about to be traded to the Raiders or was planning to sit out, and people throwing garbage on his lawn and cursing at his wife and kids, there is a trade-off there. But
there is.
Trade-off to have.
But, and the fact of the matter is going into it, and you have handlers and agents and everybody else who better educate these people on this is what you're getting into. I think that you should be level-headed enough to know on your own, but surely for the people who aren't, they have people to educate them. So this is a trade-off. You could potentially be a chameleonaire, but you could also lose a lot of your privacy and get a lot of disrespect if you don't perform up to their standards. So I don't know. To me, it's absolutely sorry. I'm sorry that sometimes things suck. And this is what you chose to do. You're compensated handsomely, so you kind of got to suck it up, hide out until people chill or whatever. All
right, so it's a long-winded, roundabout way to asking, are you in or out on NFL Films playing Carson Palmer? In. I'm into. I mean, NFL Films is one of the reasons why the NFL is so big, and being mic'd up is pretty awesome. And this is just unfortunate. But moving on, also unfortunate. The new Dallas Cowboys training facility in Frisco, Texas, will be completed in 2016, is called The Star. It has a 12,000-seat event center for some reason, indoor and outdoor practice fields, and an upscale hotel. All this for an NFL freaking team, their training center, in or out on the Star.
I mean, it's whatever, man. It's Jerry Jones's money, and if this is how he wants to spend it, then I guess it's his money, right? It's not like public money.
Nope, it's Jerry. And I got one for Jerry here.
Oh, good
What?
for you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And it just seems nuts that this would be around a practice facility, not the stadium. Not the stadium. We're talking about practice facility.
Obviously, there's profit to be made in this, or else it wouldn't be done. So, I mean, I hate him. He disgusts me, but he's being a businessman, and that's what he's supposed to be doing.
What if Bob McNair says that I'm going to tear down the Astrodome and then put up something similar just like this for my Houston Texans?
Hell yeah, practice in style. I'm down with that. They work really hard. They have to do things that you and I don't have to do, and so I like it when players are treated well. When they're not, it sucks, but they should live with it. But at the same time, if you can treat them better, give them better facilities, and find a way to make it worth your business while, then do it. So I'm in.
I agree. This is the equivalent of the Vikings moving their practice facility at Eden Prairie over to the Mall of America, which is just be a circus.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Next up, Butch Davis told his UNC players, quote, "If you came here for an education, you should have gone to Harvard," end quote. Butch Davis, of course, was the head coach of the North Carolina football team a couple years back, formerly of the Miami Hurricanes, and now I think he works for the Cowboys. Who knows? But this all after the UNC academic scandal, in or out on his comments to his players.
Out. I mean, if you think that any of these kids' parents probably is okay with that, or at least the majority of these kids' parents are okay with that, I mean, that's just crazy to me. I don't know if this is a word, but I'm making it up. This might be my favorite English word. You're commoditizing. Is that the word? Would that be a word? I don't know.
Commoditizing?
Commoditizing. You're making the kids a commodity, and you're telling them they're a commodity. And you're saying, we don't care if you learn anything. Get your ass out there and play football, and maybe you'll get your shot in the NFL. You know, you one of 100 or whatever kids who play in the college level. But probably not. So, you know, it kind of sickens me.
But does he have a point, though?
No.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys.
Anybody who goes to a school that costs the same amount as Harvard should go to Harvard. I mean, come on. That's stupid.
I don't know, man. I mean,
Everyone would like.
North Carolina's not even that good of a football program, but you know, I think he does have a quasi bit of a point. I mean,
what's the point?
They should be promised a very high quality education, which North Carolina obviously did not pull through. Davis was part of that as well, but you know, these kids are probably getting scholarship offers from Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, etc., and maybe they should have hopped on that train.
Maybe they should have been upfront with them in the beginning and say, look, you're probably not going to get such a great education here, but you know, you will have the opportunity to earn a degree and play football. I mean, why would you word it so awfully? I don't know. It's terrible sounding.
Well, Butch Davis, not really the brightest bulb on the tree. He should have won a national championship down in Miami, but he left in 2000 to coach the Cleveland Browns for some reason. And Larry Coker just comes in, vultures the national title. Hello.
Oh.
Yeah, he's gone. Next up, all of the crazy-ass uniforms in college football teams, not just Oregon, not just Maryland, are just rolling out these god-awful, disgusting combinations of who knows what, and in or out on all these uniform combinations.
Man, there's the occasional one where it's cool, but they do things that don't match, I think, for the sake of being provocative, and that pisses me off. You're on a national stage. You should match. Your colors should match. And A&M has an awful problem with this because their maroon is like almost a purple. It's really deep, and things don't match, and it makes me crazy. But then you'll have things like the American flag thing that Texas Tech did a few weeks ago. And I'm just awful. No, I hate it. I hate it.
You were out, and I agree too. I like the idea of having an alternate, very special occasion one, but schools, even like Indiana and less prestigious ones, Syracuse, are just rolling out these different ones every week just because I get that 18-year-old kids probably think that's a little bit cooler. It might give you a slight edge in recruiting, but it just seems like a huge waste of money.
Yeah, it does. And I'm not sure what the aim is that they're trying to accomplish with this. I've thought about this.
I do like when they do the salute to service ones that a lot of teams are going to be doing this weekend, but
sure.
But that's one of the special occasion ones. I mean, just doing it for doing its sake is dumb.
Right. I don't know. I'm a conservative uniform person, and you can make something conservative still look cool, but all these ridiculous Maryland sort of uniforms just can go away.
You know, if we took a straw poll of our listeners, 100% of them would not peg you as conservative.
When it comes to things that are traditional, like universities are traditional to me. So I don't understand why they have to move away from just conserving the traditional part of the university. It's just kind of what a university is, a tradition.
My name is Claire Mullins, and I'm a social liberal, a financial liberal, and a college uniform football team conservative.
There you have it.
Kaboom. All right, so what's your favorite uniform combination?
Well, do I have to pick a school that's not mine? Because as you know, I really don't have any emotional cares about any school that's not mine.
You can't even respect another school's, like, the crisp and look of their uniforms?
This might actually change the subject, but I was just having this conversation with someone the other day about jealousy. Someone was talking about everybody's jealous of Kim Kardashian's butt. And you know what? No, some people just don't care enough to appreciate something vapid and unimportant. So that's how I feel about other colleges. And not that they're vapid, but they're unimportant to me. So I don't pay attention as much or take in the details or form an opinion about what they do. It's not important to me.
So Claire likes the UCLA powder blue uniforms. My favorite.
Oh, I do. I do like those.
See, there you go. My favorite, oddly enough. See, this is like at a restaurant when the man orders for a woman. That's exactly what happened in that little exchange there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that all worked out.
She'll have the swordfish sauce on the side with
chivalrous
Caesar salad.
Well, that has anchovies. I mean, if I'm on a date, probably not Caesar.
My random favorite college uniform combo is Virginia Tech's Road Whites. I don't know why. Just the crisp, clean look of it just looks good.
Okay, that's a good point. I love whites. That's always my favorite uniform is white.
That is definitely the sound drop open for the show.
Oh, shit. No, Andy. No. Oh, stop, man. You can't do that.
In or out, LeBron saying that he's not going to let his kids play football. And this after LeBron, was a huge high school football star in Ohio. Played up until his junior year, was all-state wide receiver, tight end sort of hybrid. What's your thoughts on this? The greatest player in basketball saying he's not going to let his kids play football.
That's his call. I mean, each parent, it's up to them what they want to expose their children to. And he's experienced it. And so this is one opinion he has that I can't fault him for having.
All right. So you're in with his opinion.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm in as well. I mean, it is his kids and it is his words. It's his decision, but LeBron Jr., if he's just a shred of that athletic ability of LeBron and similar size, he would dominate the future NFL, especially if a bunch of kids down the line are held out of football because their parents don't want them to play. So against a shallower talent pool, LeBron James Jr., wide receiver, Houston Texans, come on.
I'm not saying that I would be against that, but from a parenting sense, I can't help but respect. I'm sure he knows plenty of football players. I'm sure he knows he played himself. And so I know why would he not let his child, if not for that child's best interest, in his educated opinion.
Yep. And it is kind of scary right now with all the head trauma and the lawsuits against the NFL. But something that Mike Golt's wife, who's a big advocate for moms and safety in football, this is the safest time in history to play football. I mean, this isn't like the 30s with leather helmets and no face masks. There is a lot of technology, a lot of money taken to try and make this game safer.
Right. Absolutely. And parents, I think, probably need to take that into account. But, if you look at the situation and educate yourself and form an opinion based on that, then I'm not going to judge you for that. Sorry. That's not my place.
Next, in or out, the Houston Rockets are 7-1 and now in second place in something called the Southwest Division. Are you in or out with the Rockets?
Why would I be out?
Because they're going to end up 7-75.
Because you're wrong. Shut up. What's wrong with you? Why would you say something so rude? I live and die by wins my team accumulates or losses my teams avoid.
Well, except the Rockets are like your fourth backup team.
No, they're not. They're my second team. They're like my second favorite team on earth after the Texans.
All right, so the Houston Rockets are above the Texas A&M Aggies.
No, they're not above A&M. I meant football. Sorry. I meant like in terms of sports in general. I didn't take into account college. But in terms of Houston sports, they're second. In terms of all overall sports, they would be third.
Well, there you go. If you could only pick the Texans or the Aggies for the rest of time, could only cheer and watch one, what would it be?
It's kind of 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Let's be honest. I mean, I guess I went to school at A&M, so I care about it more. Mm. But
wait, you went to school at A&M?
They're both ultimately going to disappoint you and break your heart. So whatever.
Well, they're not men.
Well,
I guess they are men.
They kind of are. Yeah. So either way, I guess. I mean, since I went to school at A&M and my degree says Texas A&M and not Houston anything, I would probably go with A&M.
All right. 2 items to wrap up, in or out. The second to last one, Derrick Rose comments about not playing, and then he went out and pulled a hamstring last night. He said this earlier in the week, quote, "I'm thinking about long-term. I'm thinking about after I'm done with basketball, having graduations to go to, having meetings to go to. I don't want to be in my meetings all sore or be at my son's graduation all sore just because of something I did in my past. I'm just learning and being smart," end quote. And this is all because he'd sitting out a couple of games early on in the season because of some soreness, some potential injuries. He just pulled that hamstring, and of course we know Derrick Rose's history with injuries. So are you in or out with his comments about think about life after basketball?
Oh, I'm in with his comments. I mean, obviously, this is just another one of those, you have to trust that the person who made the comment is making, an educated comment and form their opinion by learning about the negatives and positives. So good for him for thinking long term. This is not your entire life. You're going to live several years on this planet beyond the time that you are a famous basketball star. And he is obviously injury prone, which would make you wonder, how much of this impact can his body take?
But doesn't he come off as a little soft?
No.
Now, I'm in with the thought behind his comments. Like you said, they are human beings and have a lot of life after their respective sports. But I am out with it, and you just can't say this because public perception is going to be, it's not a concussion. It's not anything with brain trauma. It's knees, and everyone has soreness with knees.
I'm sorry. Doesn't Greg Popovich do this like every third game with all of his starters? I mean, why is it so bad that Derrick Rose is simply acknowledging it?
Just because Derrick Rose, I feel like his high profileness, his issues with injuries in the past, and just his kind of aloofness, like especially with contract negotiations with Chicago, his brother, who is like his quasi agent, leaking out stuff that's saying that, Derrick Rose doesn't have any help and things like that.
So you don't like him and you want to give him something else that you don't like about him? And I think that's what this is.
I think I'm not saying I don't personally like him. I'm thinking about just fans in general, like hardcore Chicago Bulls fans, where they saw Michael Jordan play through every conceivable injury. And now they have Derrick Rose, who they're paying all this money. Adidas is paying all this money. And now he's sitting out because his ankle's a little sore.
I can see that logic. At the
Mhm.
same time, not everybody is built like Michael Jordan was built, obviously.
Who
So
went to North Carolina and did not have an academic scandal.
there you go. That's important. At least he's received a subpar education in full, it sounds like.
There you go. Run along in the segment, but I just wanted to wrap up with Roker-a-thon. And Al Roker of the Today Show did a 34-hour-long weathercast to set the Guinness Book of World Record for longest continual weathercast. Are you in or out with this little nonsense?
I got no problem. It didn't affect my life, so
Yeah.
whatever.
What's the longest that you've ever stayed up, Claire? What's the longest bender you've ever been on?
Well, it wasn't a bender. It was more like cramming for school stuff. But probably like 28 to 30 hours.
It's a long time. What are you doing?
Studying, cramming, because, I'm a slacker.
Because you got a high-quality education in Texas A&M, so you
You're
had
damn
to
right.
cram.
Sure did. Darn it.
C's get degrees. And Claire, what is your favorite English word? You've had a whole nother segment to think about it.
Yeah, because we haven't been talking at all. I've just been sitting here thinking about English words. You know what word I love? It's maybe not my favorite, but it's a good word. Cacophony.
Cacophony. What does that mean?
It's like a discordant sound, like the gathering of like the clashing of a bunch of dropping of drums in a percussion session or something would make a cacophony of noise, or cause a cacophony or something like that.
Caca. Well,
It's a cool word.
What do you ever say, nerd? But we are cacawed out of this second segment. We'll be back for the second half of the Claire-vs-Carlson show. A little hired or fired and a little play or nay action. Should be fantastic stuff. Claire versus Carlson, BR. And we're back for segment 3 of the Claire versus Carlson show as Claire shimmies her mouth full of a bunch of old Halloween candy. What you got over there?
Pink Starbursts.
Pink Starbursts are good, but over the break you were bashing Yellow Laffy Taffy, and I will not hear that hearsay.
Hello?
It's not just yellow. Yellow can
not
be okay.
hearsay. That is heresy on top of hearsay.
Yeah, someone told you about my heresy?
Team Yellow. Yellow sticks together. Banana Laffy Taffy and me are tight.
But what about lemon?
I love lemon even more than banana.
Me too. I don't like banana flavor. It tastes like it's fake.
There you go.
Because it is.
Well, so is lemon flavored.
I don't care.
Whatevs.
It doesn't taste fake.
Speaking of lemons, and we are going to go through a list of who we think is going to get fired in the NFL this offseason. Dennis Allen, Egon, you already been fired. Yeah, to be honest, I could not pick Dennis Allen out of a lineup.
I couldn't tell you what he looked like to save my life.
Even though he's a Texas boy, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think so. He's
Yeah,
something.
And not so much. Wah, wah. So we'll tell you which teams are going to be letting their coaches go in the offseason, or maybe the coach is moving on. And who we think is going to replace them. As promised, there's a lot of a lot of what's it called?
I don't know.
Teases.
Intrigue?
I got a lot of teases to pay off and a lot of hot takes going on in this nice little cauldron of hotness. And we'll also play or nay a little bit later on. But now, who is getting fired and who's getting hired? First team. My guess, the Raiders that fired Dennis Allen, and they are hiring who cares?
Because they're going to get fired in the next 3 years.
Who seriously gives an F? Because, like you said, they will be fired within 2 years. They'll be gone.
Yep. That's pretty much the Raider tradition as of the past, I don't know how many years, but a long
No
time.
one wants that job because Reggie McKenzie will probably be retained because he found Khalil Mack and he found Derek Carr. So he should get a little leeway. But who's going to want to work for a lame duck GM who one bad season? GM's going to be gone. GMs like to bring in their own guy, and then head coach will be gone as well after 1 year.
Yeah. I don't see any turning around for the Raiders anytime in the near future.
That being said, John Gruden always seems to have a soft spot in his heart for the Raiders since he coached there before he was traded to Tampa Bay, then won a Super Bowl. But so if they have any shot at getting someone with name recognition or name value or any shred of self-respect, I guess that could be it, but that's still a long shot.
I think so. I mean, it's a pretty cush job in the booth for John Gruden, and he would take a lot of heat eventually, I think, if he said or did the wrong thing in Oakland. So I don't see him.
Moving to the other side of the bay, the San Francisco 49ers, in some sort of convoluted manner, they either fired or Jim Harbaugh simply resigns and walks away. Harbaugh moves on to the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor to coach the Wolverines. Brady Hoke gone. And the next head coach of the 49ers is Greg Roman. Just next man up.
I could see that. I mean, it doesn't feel like Harbaugh and Jed York have that great of a relationship.
Yeah, Trent Baalke either.
Yeah, that guy too. So he could easily be out, and you definitely could see a replacement. Now, Greg Roman's probably a great candidate. I mean, he's been spoken to about head coaching up vacancies before. Mm-hmm. So I can see
interviewed by
it
the
being
Vikings
his time.
before we hired Zim.
There you go. I could see him definitely being an option.
Someone else who got interviewed by the Vikings before we hired Zim, Seattle offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell, who I have great familiarity with. He was the offensive coordinator here in Minnesota from 2006 to, I don't know, sometime before Pete Carroll poached him. And he is going to get a head coaching job, and he does this offseason in Carolina. As they move on from Ron Rivera, they go to the other side of the ball, offensive guy, safe, cheap, just the way that Richardson wants it. And Cam can work with a mobile quarterback coach. Darrell Bevell got some good production out of Russell Wilson, even though there's not a ton of weapons, pass-catching weapons up in Seattle. And, we saw early in the season, Bevell bringing some college aspects to the Seattle offense. I think he can do the same with Cam, and I think Cam works a lot better in a non-traditional, non-NFL type offense.
I could see that. I think that Darrell Bevell definitely deserves a shot at head coach position. And you could always see a team going from, one extreme to the other in terms of defensive coach, offensive coach. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how he would do as a head coach when you look at how Gus Bradley's currently doing as a head coach. So I'm just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, poor Gus Bus. Him and Caldwell seem to have the blessing of the mustache Shad Khan, but I don't know. If they turn into 1-15 season, woof, especially after last year.
Yeah, because you thought that they had turned it around toward the end of last season, but no, it doesn't seem that way at all now.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, give me a team and a coach they're firing and who is coming in for cleanup.
Good question. If you asked me 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said Miami. Now, I don't know. Seems like Silva may have saved his job. I think Gosh golly gee.
Gosh golly gee, cacophony.
Pretty much.
Thou shalt rise again.
Cacophony. Bless you. Minus your LA theory, I could definitely see maybe Jeff Fisher's time being up pretty soon here in St. Louis.
No way.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher is like, he's like a cockroach after a nuclear bomb. He just stays, just like in Tennessee. He just stays.
Eventually, people get tired of it. Eventually, a coach outstays his welcome. So I find it hard to believe that he's going to be a possibility there in 2015. Now, in terms of who takes his place, I'm not nearly so good on these suppositions as you. I need more clues. I need more to believe in than just to say, oh, they're going to change this direction and try to become a more offensive team and draft a QB who can actually play football.
Tom Brady.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Thomas, Jerome, Ezekiel, Brady, the third.
Why does everyone have the middle name Ezekiel?
Just kind of happens. All right, so I got 4 fired and hireds left. Let's get the boring one out of the way. Giants, Tom Coughlin. They finally move on. He finally moves into retirement, quote unquote. And Todd Bowles, defense coordinator, Arizona Cardinals. I know he just got an extension, except he has an out if he can get a head coaching job. I think he'll finally get it. He's a great coach, great leader, and I think he will finally get it done in New York because Cowher is not coming out of the booth. That ship has sailed, even though he's got ties to the Mara family. And no, not so much. Todd Bowles, a fresh voice in that Giants locker room, gets that defense right again, and I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah, he's been talked about, and I've seen him interviewed. I get a good impression from him at the same time. I get good impressions of people all the time who become head coaches in the NFL, and then they fail. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
you love Dennis Allen.
No, I didn't.
Didn't Dennis Allen date your mom for a while?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just spitballing now. Texas boy, a lot of charm. Also ordered for the female. Swordfish, no Caesar salad, though.
I'll take the house dressing.
We'll take the side salad with the house dressing, please. The last 3 are steaming red hot. First one.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Bears move on from the quarterback whisperer. The pride of St. Louis Park, University of Minnesota Moorhead, Mark Trestman. He gone, and they bring in
Canada.
A big name.
Who?
Michael Shanahan to replace him.
Ew.
Reunites with his bays, Jay and Brandon Marshall. They bring up the band back together just like the Denver days, and they get rolling.
You know, as much as I ew that, because he's turned into rat face, he used to not be so pointy looking. Now he's like really squinty and pointy. Shanahan is.
Nothing wrong with being squinty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry. I didn't mean that.
Wait, I got one for you. There you go. That's a good one.
Oh. I'm scared to listen to this later. I'm nervous.
Mike Shanahan with his zone running scheme. Matt Forte. I don't know if he's built out for it, like, Arian Foster, the one cut and go type running back, but I'm sure they'll figure out a way. Spoon. I mean, Alfred Blue, the one cut and go type running back.
Yeah. You need to chill on Alfred Blue, yo.
Yuck. But Cutler, you could argue, had his best years as a young quarterback under Shanahan. Shanahan obviously loved him. And I don't know. Again, it's not in Chicago's nature because they're notoriously cheap. I don't think they'll fire Trestman just so they can keep paying him because I think they're going to be paying Lovie Smith next year too. Who knows? Oh. And then they'll have to pay Shanahan on top of that, and he ain't going to be cheap. So this is kind of a pipe dream, but it's still a pretty hot take.
That is a pretty good one. I must admit, this is the first one that you've gone totally rogue, and I actually see where this makes sense for everybody.
I got one for you. That is not going to make sense. 2 more, and you're going to be flipping something. Falcons fire Mike Smith and hire Nick Saban.
Shut the No.
Nick Saban gets another Crystal Trophy,
No.
and then the pressure of Tuscaloosa and the unappreciativeness of those Bama fans, he is gone, and they promote Lane Kiffin to be their next head coach, and
No, come on, man. Now you're getting crazy.
Tide does not roll. No, this one actually has some roots. So Nick Saban, Arthur Blank originally wanted Nick Saban in 2003 when he was at LSU. He had to settle for Bobby Petrino. So he wanted Nick Saban. He has decided in the past. One last big payday for Nick Saban. The pressure will be much lower in Atlanta as opposed to Tuscaloosa. And I think Saban, he's got an ego. He still wants to prove he can do it in the NFL since the Dolphins thing did not work out. He has a franchise quarterback, or at least a decent quarterback in place, in Matt Ryan. He's got Julio Jones, his former Bay. If they can get that offensive line, that defense, which is Saban's obvious specialty, they get that together as they move into that brand new vagina-shaped stadium in 2016. Atlanta, Nick Saban. Roll Falcons.
No. No. And I don't have logic or reason. It just feels wrong. It just feels dirty.
All right, now I say my last bomb for last because I don't want to I don't want to blow your mind too soon. But do you have any other coaches that are getting fired and anyone getting recycled?
I mean, Wisenhunt ain't making himself look good this year already, but I don't know. But go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say because you love the conspiracy theories.
The New York Jets fire Rex Ryan and throw an assload of money at either, this is an either one, Gus Malzahn or Kevin Sumlin. Woody Johnson
I can see.
Needs some sizzle. Chip Kelly has proven that college coaches can do okay in the NFL. Saban is coming back to the NFL as well. New York Jets, they're going to get it going. They're going to get Marcus Mariota with the number 3 overall pick. Imagine Malzahn, Mariota, Sumlin, Mariota. Come on.
Okay, whenever your crazy conspiracy theories begin to depend on other crazy conspiracy theories to come true, that's whenever I just sit back and just roll my eyes a little bit because
Gig'em Jets.
Yeah.
War damn Jets.
War damn Jets. That was pretty rich, dude. I like that. I'm gonna use it in real life. Okay. I could see them actually going that direction. But I don't know. I don't think that that team is so inexperienced and young and crappy. They need somebody, I think, with a lot of NFL experience to reshape it.
Well, if you got a young team, what better than a young, fresh voice like a college coach to come on? Like Chip Kelly and the Eagles.
You're competing against NFL teams, and a lot of times if those voices don't mesh, then the young guy's voice the young coach's voice would get lost, and then the team would lose respect for him, and it, I think, has a better chance of going south than it does of being successful.
Well, a lot of NFL coaches, it's always, what have you done for me lately? And, when Saban failed and when Steve Spurrier failed in the NFL, they're like, oh, you can't hire a college coach. But since Harbaugh has done very well in the NFL, Chip Kelly obviously come in and flip the script a little bit. I think it's going to give chances to a guy like Malzahn, like Sumlin. And, Sumlin can't coach a lick of defense. And how many more years is it going to be? I understand that him and Manziel kind of rebuilt Kyle Field. But how many years of 6-7 win seasons where your defense is just continually getting lit up are people going to put up with in College Station?
Well, it doesn't have to be 6-7. It could be like, I don't know. They could be
even 8 wins.
9-3.
Even 8 wins, 9 wins, and then go to that Inside.com Bowl or the Music City Bowl or whatever.
That's better than no bowl. I mean, I've been on that side of it too. I mean, honestly, being a fan of A&M or Houston, hey, getting to the playoffs is better than not getting to the playoffs. As much as it sucks not going to the big game, I'll take it.
I think Sumlin's a smart guy, though, because
he'll understand from what he's seen from Kenny Trill, the rise and fall of Kenny Trill, and then Kyle Allen is still kind of that he rides one quarterback to move on to the next job. Like he rode Case Keenum at Houston, then he moved on to Texas A&M. Ryan Johnny Manziel, he's still on that wave a little bit. Why not move up to the ultimate level, get paid $8 million, $9 million a year by Woody Johnson in the bright lights of New York with Marcus Mariota? Come on.
I'm not anti the idea, but I don't know, man. That's a lot to digest. That's all.
That is hot. But the Jets is the place where college coaches come to die. Remember 1976, Lou Holtz, 3-10, and then resigned, and that didn't work out so much. I guess Joe Namath wasn't going to run the option, but who knew? Who knew? So to recap, Panthers, Ron Rivera, he gone. Darrell Bevell, you win. Bears, Tressman, ye gone. Mike Shanahan, welcome back to the place was your ticket out. Raiders, Dennis Allen, already gone. Who is in? Who cares? 49ers, Harbaugh in Ann Arbor. Greg Roman, promoted. Giants, Coughlin out. Todd Bowles in. Falcons, Mike Smith, he gone. Nick Saban, welcome back, baby. And the Jets, Rex Ryan, Gus Malzahn, or Kevin Sumlin. I'll take either or, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay. That was our hired and fired segment. I feel like I need a cigarette because that was fantastic.
You enjoyed that quite a bit, didn't you?
Yep. Also, I'm going to enjoy this next segment called Play or Nay, when the sound drop eventually plays. Oh, there you go. Now it's time for your favorite trivia game, Play or Nay. I think you're going to be very amused by the choice of music behind the sound drop. But anyways, in Play or Nay, I give Claire one team and several players. And she tells me whether those players played for the team or nay, did not. 7 players. The team this week, the Denver Broncos. Claire.
I mean, are these going to be fairly noteworthy players, or are they going to be like 2-year guys that ended up being cut?
I guess we will find out.
Okay.
Wah. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so I don't have the or ding, so we'll have to roll with these. Correct answer will be A. Wrong answer will be A.
Hello?
There you go. Close enough. Whatevs. First name, Tony Dorsett.
Nay.
Dorsett. Your answer is nay.
Correct.
Hello?
That is incorrect. Tony Dorsett, the running back, the pride of Pitt, huge star with the Dallas Cowboys, did end his career one season, 1988, with the Denver Broncos.
You're going to throw a guy who's there for one season at the very end of his career. I mean, man, you know I don't do trivia.
Well, it's like Earl Campbell and the Saints. Running backs always end their career with some random team.
You're not asking me about a Houston team. You're asking me about Denver. Okay, go ahead. It's fine. We'll have fun with it.
It's like Adrian ending up with the Raiders next year. And it just happens to running backs.
Well, I know, but that's why you chose the crazy question. Go ahead, please.
Next man up, okay. Carl Mecklenburg.
Yes.
Mecklenburg.
Yay.
Yay is your answer?
Correct.
That is correct. Played for the Broncos from 1983 to 1994. Appeared in a bunch of Super Bowls. Did not win any of them. By the way, went to college. Where do you think Carl Mecklenburg went to college?
Let me guess.
Minnesota. Ding. Also, are you Googling?
No. Promise. Swear.
Hand to Gad.
I wish we were on camera right now on Skype because I'm totally not Googling anything. My hands are in my lap.
But you are not wearing any clothing. That is very inappropriate. Next one up, Shannon Sharp. Sharp.
Yay.
That is correct. Played from 1990 to 1999 as well as 2002 to 2003 after getting additional ring with Baltimore. Tight end Savannah State, the pride of Savannah State. Next name up, Chris Gronkowski.
Gronkowski played there. I don't know if it was Chris, but I think yay.
That is correct. Played there in 2012, his last full year in the league. Claire, you are on fire. You are currently 3-1.
Fire.
Not as fire as Nick Saban to Atlanta. I'm just putting that out there.
Three names left. Yo, here we go. Bubby Brister, quarterback. Bubby Brister.
Yay, I think.
That is correct. 1997 to 1999. Even filled in on one of those Super Bowl runs, a couple of games for John Elway. Good times.
Good time.
So 4-1. The only one you messed up was Tony Dorsett, who's probably the most famous name on this list.
Well, you tricked me because all I could think of was Dallas, and I didn't remember him getting traded. So what did you want me to do there?
Wah, wah, wah. Next name up on the list, Ebenezer Akubin. Ebenezer Akubin.
Are you for real serious with this?
That is probably one of my all-time favorite names of an
No.
athlete.
Nay.
Nay.
Hello?
That is incorrect. The defensive end out of North Carolina played 4 seasons for the Broncos, 2005 to 2008.
Oh.
This after being a first-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Ebenezer Akubin.
He should have been more famous.
Yeah, except he's such a Grinch and hates Christmas.
What? Because he's Ebenezer Scrooge?
4-2 going into the last name, Claire. Brandon Stokely. Brandon Stokely.
Yay.
That is correct. He played there from 2007, 2009, as well as 2012. He was all in the mix during Tebow time. Brandon Stokely.
Yeah, he was.
Wide receiver, Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. So, Claire, you end up 5-2 on play or nay.
Oh, God.
That was way more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, what do you mean? Of course it's going to be fun. All my games are fun.
Because sometimes you torture me.
No, it's like Jewel, these foolish games. Are tearing me apart.
Oh.
Don't act like you don't know who Jewel is.
No, I know who Jewel is. I don't know her song.
3 segments are in the books, and we'll bring it on home with our picks. Bloodbath will be BRB, Claire versus Carlson show. Hang with us Friday night. Come on, sober up, son.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments, Claire. Play whenever you want, which I know you love to do.
Got an injured player? Not a problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week. So you're never stuck with the same players, luckily for you, Carlson.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
And this season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000.
Another turned $2 into $10,000. $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code SPREAKER, SPREAKER, to play for free. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com.
Straight cash, homie.
And bringing her home with the last segment of the Claire versus Carlson show on Friday night edition. Hopefully you're still hanging out with us. And if it's on demand, doesn't really matter what time it is, because there ain't no time on the Claire versus Carlson podcast. It's kind of like Interstellar. Have you seen that movie yet, Claire?
No, I have not.
It's phenomenal. It's 3 hours long, so...
You're the first person I've known who's called it phenomenal, and I'm not a Matthew McConaughey fan, except for in True Detective.
Really? Well, I'm kind of a nerd too, and I really like all of Christopher Nolan's movies, like the Dark Knight trilogy, and then also Inception. So
yeah, Inception was a good movie.
Except you probably could sort with like Muscleheads, who probably thinks that Fast and the Furious 7 is going to be the best movie of all time.
Well, I try not to associate with people who would believe
my favorite movies all time are Citizen Kane and Fast and the Furious 7.
Yeah, I'm not probably that guy. We're not friends.
All right. Speaking of not friends, my picks are not so friendly either. As through 10 weeks, I'm trailing Claire by 7 picks. The gap is slightly widening. She is leading 91-55 to 84-63, but I can feel it. I went a little against the grain on my picks that I have written down already. Hand to God. We both got Miami right last night, Thursday Night Football, 22-9. Just kind of went with the home team, but whatevs. I got some ground to make up because the parameters are what are they again, Claire?
Abby changed, so I get to pick your Abby essentially throughout for the first week of the playoffs. Now I forget.
It's a duration over the playoffs.
The duration of playoffs. Oh, good. I'm glad you remembered because it slipped my mind, and I'll probably win. So thank you for being honest. I'm just saying.
I wish you had a dump.
I've been winning the whole time. I've been winning the whole time. What do you want me to say?
Yeah,
because I'm going to lose?
See, you're so afraid to go hot take, just like the whole 2015 quarterbacks, just like the hired and fired. You're too scared to say that Manziel is going to be the quarterback of the Buccaneers in 2015. You're too scared to say that Saban's going to be coaching the Falcons next year.
It's not scared of it. A, I'm not that creative to come up with such scenarios. And B,
dirty birds.
Ew. And B, it just seems like it's such speculation. I just am not a big speculator. I don't like speculating because it's always wrong.
Is that why you're bad at trading energy back in the day?
I don't understand.
Back for Enron?
I get it. Speculating.
Speculating.
Yeah. No.
As Houston is the energy capital of the world. Is that right?
I guess.
Reliant Stadium, NRG Stadium. Come on, Claire.
Well, I mean, it's the oil and gas capital of America, but I don't know if there's like something in Yemen or wherever where it's just more. I don't know.
No, it's pronounced Yaman.
Oh, my bad. Or like Qatar or Qatar or what the hell do people call it?
No, Yaman is the country in the Middle East founded by Jamaicans.
Oh, shut up.
I don't know if you know that. All right, so recapping our picks from last week, Claire did come out ahead. She won, I don't know, some. Yeah, so looking forward to week 11. I got some ground to make up. We got 7 games, and unfortunately only 4 teams are on the bye, so we got some meat to work with, and down the stretch, no one's on bye after, was it next week? Whatever.
Right.
I'm going to catch up. I'm fully confident. So let's get to the Sunday noon games. First one, near and dear to my heart, Minnesota at Chicago, a place where the Vikings have not won since 2007. Your Bay, Jay Cutler, has been bad Bay Cutler lately. Claire, who do you got winning this titanic tilt of titillating proportions? Damn it, I couldn't think of another team.
I know, I was trying to think of what you were going to come up with and nothing. Thanks. Let's see. I mean, really, if there is a moment where Minnesota can come in and sort of start turning the tide on their bad luck at Soldier Field, this would probably be the year to do it. So I'll go ahead and get behind Minnesota in this game. Of course, you picked Minnesota too, and now our picks are the same. But I'm just picking what I believe in.
All right, so you got Jay Cutler and the Bears. Houston at Cleveland.
Wrong.
All right, fine. You got the Minnesota Fighting Vikings as well. Next one up, near and dear to our hizzies as well. Houston Texans without Arian Foster heading in to Cleveland, the dog pound. Who you got winning this matchup?
I've tried to do like the luck thing where I pick against them, but I can't be objective like I've stated many times before. And of course, I'm just going to believe that my team can win until they show me that they can't. So I'm going Texans.
Yeah, except you didn't pick them last week against the Eagles.
I know. That was when I thought that's what I was saying. You would think that luck would affect it or something. No, it doesn't.
Jackass.
Like changing my schedule, doing what I don't normally do.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons.
Who'd you pick?
Oh, sorry, I got Cleveland at home.
Of course you do.
Of course. Different pick. Atlanta Falcons at Carolina Panthers. This is the future matchup of Nick Saban at Darrell Bevel, and it's going to be awesome. But right now, Matt Ryan and that shoddy offensive line comes in against Cam Newton and is like
3 injured ankles and terrible offensive line. Calvin Benjamin dropping things all over the place. Claire, who do you got in this mess of an NFC South matchup?
Atlanta.
I struggled with this, but I went with the home team. I don't know how they're going to get it done. I just don't trust Matt Ryan on the road, especially with that offensive line, that defense. I don't even know if Cam finishes this game because he is really banged up. But even if they have Derek Anderson or hell, even Joe Webb, the pride of University of Alabama, Birmingham, which they might shut down the football program, Blazer, I still like Carolina. I'm going Carolina at home. The South shall rise again. And also the NFC.
Atlanta's in the South, too. So
Whatever.
I'm just saying.
Does Saban know that? Because he's got to know where to send the U-Haul trucks.
Oh, God.
Saban, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals at the New Orleans Saints. This after Andy Dalton coming off that just abject failure of a Thursday night football game.
Oh, God, it was bad.
Where he had a quarterback rating of like 2.
Yeah, well, some
generous.
fantasy leagues he had minus, like Philip Rivers did a few weeks ago, so that was pretty disgusting.
Philippe
Rivers. How about we just call him Big Giant Man Vagina? But whatever. I would probably go with New Orleans at home.
I have the Saints at home as well. Not getting too crazy. And also, I need to revise my 2015 starting quarterback prediction. Houston Texans, Philippe Rivers.
Oh, shut up.
Philippe Rivers.
Nope. You just want me to be tortured. That's all. The only reason
Tampa Bay Bays at the Washington something's professional football team. Who you got in the battle of the suck?
Washington sucks a little bit less, I think.
I love this game. I love this game because I picked Tampa, but you know the Washington's going to end up winning by 40 because Tampa is terrible. Even though your boy Mike Evans is stepping up.
It's about time. I mean, I guess I'm starting him this week finally, but I've started him too many weeks where he's gotten like 2 points.
No, he might have a shot at Offensive Rookie of the Year because the quarterbacks have been kind of eh. I mean, Teddy has won 3 games, but he's still not putting out eye-popping stats, and Evans is coming along.
There you go. Never know.
Denver Broncos at St. Louis Rams. If they played this next year, it would be Manning Brady Bowl 17.
Well, they're not.
Who you got?
I don't know. I want to know who you picked. You're not going to tell me.
I picked the Broncos on the road.
Oh. That's probably who I was going to pick, too. But, like, people point out to me, St. Louis has this weird mental thing. Well, they usually just have one big upset win a year, so I'm going to go with Denver on the road, too.
It's a pretty wise and sage pick. Besides, then their upset came early in the year when they beat Seattle at home, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and also they beat San Francisco on the road. So I think they've gotten their couple big wins out of the way.
Yeah, I think you're correct. So we'll go with that.
Also, Sean Hill versus Peyton Manning. Get some. Get some.
I can't do it, man. Nah.
The San Francisco 49ers trying to save their season without Navarro Bowman, without Patrick Willis, but they do get Alden Smith back on the road against the New York Giants, who are at home. So someone's always at home, I guess. So 49ers at Giants, who you got?
Yeah, I was going to say at least they have the Giants as their opponent this week because the Giants have looked pretty hapless. I'm going to have to go with San Francisco on this game.
I got the Giants at home. Odell Beckham Jr. is a stud. I think he gets a little loose again. San Francisco is really going to miss Willis, and from reports saying that Bowman might not be back this year, that's really going to hurt. And like we said, the last show, I don't think San Francisco makes the playoffs this year, and that's not a good way to send your boy Jim Harbaugh out as he heads to Ann Arbor to coach the Michigan Wolverines. Actually, Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, Michigan, Ohio State, that will be awesome.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens with that.
I'd watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Seahawks at Kansas City at Arrowhead. Who do you got?
Man, I could see Kansas City somehow pulling off an upset here. They're in Arrowhead. the defense of Seattle hasn't been nearly as productive, shall we say, as they were last year. And sometimes, and Kansas City's just streaky like that. So I'm going to go with Kansas City.
I have Kansas City at home as well. Seattle's offense just really hasn't stepped it up. I mean, they miss Golden Tate, and then they get rid of Percy Harvin, and just hasn't been the same. And like I said, their defense is struggling. They're still okay, but they're not nearly as dominant as they were last year. They've had injuries. Cam Chancellor's been hurt. I think they lost Brandon McBain. And
Yep.
yeah, this is pretty much it. Although this is Dana's bowl game.
It is. It's a Dana Bowl.
At the Dana Bowl, but we both got the Chiefs winning at historic Arrowhead Field. Oakland at San Diego at not so historic Qualcomm Field. Who do you got in AFC West Battle O Suck?
It is a battle of suck, but San Diego sucks a little bit less than Oakland, so San Diego.
Yeah, I really want to take the one time for Oakland because I don't think they're going to end up winless, but I think San Diego wins at home as well. This after they've had like a full week to think about the ass kicking that they had last week.
Yeah.
Detroit at Arizona in a sneaky great game. You got Detroit coming in, getting Calvin Johnson back. Arizona at home, but now they got Drew Stanton with Carson Palmer with that torn ACL. Who you got?
I could see that Arizona defense upsetting the chemistry of Stafford and et al. But at the same time, I could see Stafford et al. Overcoming. So, and the team, I don't know. I feel like Arizona, though, I feel like their leadership is stronger and their, like, core is just tougher. And I'm going to go with Arizona now.
I have Arizona at home as well. I think Drew Stanton is not as big a drop-off from Carson Palmer as people would think, especially since Stanton's got his feet wet a little bit earlier in the season as well. And they're my Super Bowl pick right now. I mean, as long as they get the number one seed and have people come through University of Phoenix Online Stadium, I like their shot. I like their chances. And, a Green Bay at Arizona NFC Championship game, I'd watch that.
Oh, yeah. Why not? I would watch it, too.
Why not? Beats Gilmore Girls, even though Gilmore Girls is great.
Is it? I never watched it.
How dare you? How dare you, ma'am? Last of the late games, Fox's NFL or America's Game of the Week, whatever they call it. Philadelphia fighting Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
I think this one's tough, but I think Green Bay will take this victory.
Damn it, we're matching too much. I got Green Bay at home as well. I think they get it done. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and it's going to be entertaining either way. So I'm actually excited to watch this one.
Yeah, me too.
New England at Indianapolis at the Drum at the whatever they call it in Indianapolis on Sunday Night Football. Andrew Luck versus future Rams quarterback Tom Brady. Who you got?
Patriots.
I got the Colts at home. I think Andrew Luck, they just find a way. Revis against T.Y. Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton is a little bit too quick. Too quick.
Now, I realize this game is on the road as opposed to being at home, but you do realize what the Patriots just did to the Broncos and
at home.
The Broncos defense. Yeah, but I made that point. I said I realized that. But the Broncos defense, I think, is probably better than the Colts defense. I don't know. I'm going with Patriots.
It's at home. I got Andrew Luck.
I know.
I'll be all right.
All right. Oh, okay. It'll just be all right because he's magic super answer to everything.
The worst Monday Night Football game on the schedule of the season. Pittsburgh at Tennessee for some reason. I'm taking the Titans at home. Come on, Sharona.
I'm taking Pittsburgh, so have fun with all that.
I just wanted to put it out there because I'm very excited about my pick.
Oh, why are you so excited about your pick?
Because I feel like Pittsburgh plays down to their competition, especially on the road. Like that close game in Jacksonville this year. And I think that happens again on Monday night. I think Tennessee, every team has their one time, and Tennessee definitely hasn't used theirs probably for a couple of years. But Mettenberger, Bishop Sankey, they finally, I can't even keep a straight face with this. But
I know, that's
I don't
really
know.
difficult.
It's going to be really ugly, but somehow they'll be able to shut down Antonio Brown, and they'll somehow get this done. It will be like 19-16, just ugly, ugly football, but they come out on top.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see. We will see.
Well, is that all I got? Yeah,
That's all I got.
You're making fun of me saying, "Oh, we'll be okay," as opposed, and then you'll be like, "Oh, we'll see, we'll see."
Pretty much.
You're like the passive aggressive mom who always puts down her teenage daughter, and then whenever the daughter has any ideas, and then the mom's just like, "We'll see, we'll see, we'll see."
I don't even know what this character you're describing is, but that's not me.
Fine. But we differ on 6 games this week, and I got a shot to make up a little bit of ground. You have Houston on the road. I got Cleveland at home. You, for some reason, have Atlanta on the road. I have Carolina at home. You have Washington at home. I have Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the future home of Johnny Freakin' Football, on the road. You have San Francisco on the road, traveling west to east. I got the Giants at home for a noon game. Sunday Night Football, we differ. You got the Patriots, I got the Colts, and Monday Night Football. This is going to be hilarious when this happens, when it goes down. I got Tennessee beating the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, Monday Night Football. It'll be good stuff.
I'm interested to see what happens with it.
All right, so after this week, I'm going to be down 1 game, making that push Week 12 and beyond, and I hope you like photos of skinless animals as your avatar. Like hairless moles. No, not skinless, hairless.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm sorry, I did not realize I agreed to animal snuff film footage on my avatar.
Now, see, why'd you go to snuff films? You could have just said that, I don't want to dress deer as my avatar.
Because I was trying to be as vividly disgusting as possible, thinking of skinless animals. Shock value. Maybe you've heard of it?
Texas has the death penalty,
Can't believe it or not. Yeah, they do.
No. All right, Claire, just got a couple minutes to wrap up. Do you have anything good to say to the listeners? Got a big weekend coming up, college football, NFL. I hear you're getting your hair did and your nails did. Is that accurate?
Where did you hear that?
On the street. Where do you think I get all my news?
The streets of Minnesota told you that me and Houston was getting my hair and nails done. No, I don't have any appointments scheduled. But I am looking forward, of course, to A&M Missouri tomorrow night.
Former battle of Big 12 foes.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be a good game. Mizzou is 7-2 and A&M is 7-3. I say it's going to be a good game. I'm pretending like 3 out of the last 4 A&M games didn't happen. They did. They weren't good games. So maybe it could be good. And the weekend, Sunday, like I said, there are 3 excellent games scheduled that I'm excited to see. And I think, aren't they all on different times? They are all on different times. So all day Sunday is going to be perfect with Detroit, Arizona, Philly, Green Bay, New England, and Indy. I think those games are going to be a blast.
Well, Detroit, Arizona, and Philly, Green Bay are both on the late slot, but I get you.
Oh, are they? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
It does kind of sting, but it's all good. And all right, so I'm sure listeners really want to know, but when you do get your hairs did and your nails done, what do you have a normal salon that you go to that you sit in the chair and gossip?
No, I don't gossip. I don't talk to anybody.
What?
Keep to myself. And usually, I'm traveling all the time. Usually, if I just have an extra hour or something, I'll just stop into a local nail salon wherever I am. In terms of my hair, I usually just cut it myself. Is that awful?
Now, do you cut it, or do you just burn it, or do you chew it, or some other sort of nervous tick that has deep psychological roots?
I usually cut it with scissors, but every I don't know, I just wear it long and just straight. So I'll just go and get it cut every year or 2, and then just keep it up in between.
I cut my hair with a straight edge razor blade, but nothing's wrong with me.
Well, that sounds about right.
Now with the nails, what do you usually go with? Are you with the new trend of having the ring finger, like some sort of crazy design, and the other solid colors?
No, I don't do all that craziness. I don't even like sparkles. I just like straight up color. And usually during usually during any season, I wear a color of a team typically, although I stray on occasion. But right now I'm in Aggie Maroon.
Hello, Miss Mullins. Welcome to a nail salon. What color would you like? I want black with black sparkles. Ma'am, you know that the black sparkles won't sparkle at all. I know. That's how I imagine the interaction is.
That sounds like the most boring person on earth.
Well, I didn't want to go with the very stereotypical Asian nail salon tech.
So you cleaned it up.
Because I'm not all about the action, boss. So I went deep down to, like, it sounded like Xerxes from 300, that sort of voice.
I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah, I do. That took me a minute. 300 or something like that. I forget what that voice is, though.
Yeah,
no,
Claire, you don't get the 300 references. You didn't see Interstellar. You haven't seen Milo and Otis. Like, what have you done with your life?
I don't pay much attention to movies. Unless I read the book, I really don't care.
Well, all right, so list off your favorite movie. Like, what you got? The Lovely
Favorite?
Bones.
No, I never saw that.
The Great Outdoors.
Oh, movies that I watched. Well, I mean, this is old now, but it sticks with me and it doesn't get old in my head that I'd love forever until I die would be Step Brothers.
You would.
I love that movie. It's a really funny movie. And they play Vampire Weekend in the beginning, and I really like them.
You would like Vampire Weekend because of all of your indie roots.
I like Vampire Weekend. They make me happy.
All right, well, this is a better conversation since you're not too much of a movie or a buff or a cinephile. Like, what's your 3 favorite bands that make you happy?
Like of all time?
All time.
Holy crap on a stick. Okay.
I feel like we could make a whole show out of just this and then me making fun of you.
I like Tool. I like favorite bands of all time. If you didn't put me on the spot, I would come up with some better answers. I liked the Beastie Boys. I grew tired of them now. I think of bands that are like common knowledge everybody knows about. So I like some like indie bands that no one really cares about. Maybe Jimi Hendrix.
My favorite indie band is Slap Bucket Yankee Stool.
Oh, that sounds awful.
That's a real band.
No, there's a band called Diarrhea Planet.
So it's about your anus.
Shut up. maybe that's something that they thought of when they
That's
named
an
it.
allegory. That is awesome. I love that one.
That's a good one. It's a keeper.
All right. So let's bring down the tenor since I don't want to go out in that Uranus note, but little heavier note is R.I.P. Orlando Thomas. He died at 42 this week. Long battle with ALS. He announced he had the disease in 2007. One of my favorite Vikings of the late 90s Vikings. Led the NFL in interceptions his rookie year with 9. And, yeah, it's just very sad. Yeah.
Terrible, terrible situation.
And
way too young.
Just like Orlando Thomas and the thousands others like him stricken with Lou Gehrig's disease is the reason that the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge wasn't stupid.
Yeah. Well, did you see? Oh my gosh! I wish I had thought to get his name. There is a former player who has ALS now, and he got married, I think, shortly after he was diagnosed, and it's the story of him and his wife. And he did the Ice Bucket Challenge because it was one of the few things he could actually do with the disease to contribute. So, I don't know. I mean, that was kind of a nice story.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that, too, except I don't remember the name.
I know. It was like Paul something, and he had a little blonde, cute wife, and she was really sad because it was different and harder than she thought. It was just awful. Awful.
But one of Orlando Thomas's sayings that he said to himself all the time was that every day is a holiday, and I think we would all be better off if we lived our lives like that. Don't you agree, Claire?
That would be cool. I mean, if I didn't have to work and stuff, but I understand the sentiment. I guess if you're a football player doing what it is you love to do, every day kind of is a holiday. And so good for him for putting himself in that situation, and I'm sad that he's no longer with us.
No, Claire, every day is a holiday because it's better than the alternative. And besides, you love work. You love your job.
I do love my job.
And travel peanuts and coughing at the airport.
Well, I like going. I like being places, but getting places does suck.
And there's no more Ebola scare, so that's got to.
Is there not? Has that gone away? I don't know anything.
No, the last doctor was released, but now another Ebola doctor is coming over.
Like coming from Africa or something?
Yeah, but all right, so we brought the timer way down. Every day is a holiday. Let's end up on that high note. It's better than the other notes that we're leaving off on. But we are part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire Mullins. I am Andy Carlson. And, yeah, listen to our podcast on demand. It doesn't have to be live. Just hit up our Spreaker app, latenightsportsradio.com, iTunes, YouTube, and all that good stuff. But have any last words, Claire?
No, I hope all my teams win. That's really all I care about. So, blah.
All right, for the record, Claire just said as her last words. Enjoy the weekend, mofos. We're going to be watching a lot of football, and Claire's going to go see Diarrhea Planet on tour, and, yeah, a good time. So, say goodnight, Claire.
Good night, Claire.
All right, we out of here. Good night.
The music was created and produced by Dee. To hear more of his tracks, check out soundcloud.com/Dee.